I've been trying to make some gold 90 because I wanted to do a hunting rig of like 10 or 12. And these are my first two. They're Northern White Cedar, hollow. This one I've got the keel on, this one not yet. I haven't weighed it in the pool yet, so I don't know how it's going to do or how much weight I'm going to be putting in here. This one had such a thin head, I ended up putting a couple 2-inch screws to help the head sit, and I fill in the back with that epoxy sculpt. And that's all. I'm going to try to do, these tails are almost going to be underwater, but I have some I'm making with high tails, and I'm switching up the heads a little bit. You know, this is more kind of a courtship display, but anyways, that's the first of many, hopefully.
What'd you paint with?
Oil. Like just tube oil.
So you're gonna hunt them under those?
I'm gonna try. I'm trying not to blast them, but yeah, I'll see how they float once they.
That's awesome.
I carved this little hand redhead. It's white cedar, oil paints, alkyds, and that's about it.
What kind of wood was it again?
White cedar.
No, this is one of the club's project. I modified, I don't know, so everybody's way here. I modified it a little bit. I dropped the wing. Did make one mistake on dropping that wing, but if you don't notice it, if you want to know about it, come talk to me later. It's all wood except for the feet. Those are those cast pewters that, things that you can buy from different suppliers. There's 29 little wooden stones in there. What a pain in the ass. And I don't grind, I just carve, so I had to carve 29 stones. That is ridiculous. And then 2 coats of sealer on each stone, 2 coats of gesso on each stone, 1 coat of oil paint, and then because I'm touching them, when I put them back down, I had to kind of touch them up and then let them dry, and then I did a wash coat basically to kind of tone them down a little bit. So next time you're thinking of doing something with rocks, think twice. And my wife said, well, can't you just go out and get a bunch of rocks? Yeah, you can, but you know, epoxy glue rocks on wood. I mean, I had trouble just epoxy gluing wood on wood, you know, once you got painted. So let's see what that's, let's see, I think the base was just pine, and it's oil paints.
I've been going to a woodcarvers club in Minnetonka. They're made up of and they carve little tiny figurines like cowboys and things like that. But they're made, it's a bunch of old geezers and fogies. They're all in their 80s and 90s. I've been going to that, but I'm an elk hunter. I hunt elk. And that's what these are. These are elk teeth, elk ivory. The elk have 2 of these in their upper jaw. I've been hunting elk for quite a few years. And I've, see, I got, the one necklace I have is 30 elk teeth on it, which means I harvested 15 bulls. Well then, back in 1990, we were hunting in Montana, Well, I've gotten elk in Idaho, Colorado, Montana, and British Columbia. Well, we were in Montana hunting elk, and we did have a grizzly bear license. So one of us could take a grizzly if we saw one. And my hunting partner did see one. And actually the grizzly was stalking him. This was in 1990. Well, he ended up shooting it. So we did harvest a grizzly that year in the Bob Marshall Wilderness area, if you ever hear of that. But when I got home, I decided, well, maybe I should just carve a grizzly. And that's what this is. This is a grizzly bear, a stylized one. It's carved it in 1990, and it's the name of it is Back Off. He's just telling you to back off, because that grizzly was stalking my hunting partner, Ken Weestrand, his name was. He passed away about a year ago. But I remodeled the base on it in 1993, so it's about pretty close to 30 years old. But I carve other odds and ends too.
What kind of wood did you carve that out of?
Huh?
What kind of wood did you carve
I think
it
it's
from?
basswood.
Basswood.
I use either popple or basswood.
Sure.
And I used to harvest my own wood. But yeah, I like wood carving. It's a really interesting sport, you might call it.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, on the Saturday carving thing, I couldn't carve because I had cataract surgery, but Tom was good enough to cut me out a whole bunch of bodies. I bought a couple sheets of cork from him, and some of you expressed a little interest in what I was going to do with them. It's 4-inch cork, and 4 inches for a little bird is a little too thick. So what I did was slice them in half and laminate them on just a 1-inch pine board. And a couple things. Now I've done a lot of these. This is 31 teal that I've carved in the last month and a half or so. And I had some balsa, and I did the same thing with that, laminating it on pine. And I used to, when I put a bottom board like this on, I'd screw the bottom board on. And I got to thinking about that, and wrong way. So with these, and with the balsa ones too, I screw the softer material onto the bottom board. So I put in 4 screws. I broke my planer, so I needed a way to get a nice surface or get the glue to hold. And so I've been using, what is it? PL3X. It's a,
375 or 400?
it's a construction glue.
No,
Too, and it's a whole lot cheaper than epoxy.
it works.
Anyway, I spread that on, and I'm not real good about clamping stuff, so I glue and then I screw, and when I
do the final cuts on the bandsaw, I take the screws out again. And when I reinsert them after I've carved everything, I put a plug of epoxy putty in there as a little bit of reserve strength in there so they don't pull apart. Anyway, these are cork with pine bottom board and red cedar heads.
I should mention one thing here before we go to break. Anybody have any ideas on what they'd like to do in the July meeting?